the work that goes into this. I know from coordinating some of these events in the past and for my business that this is not easy to put together. And so thank you for opening up your home. Thank you for all the work in getting the candidates' schedules coordinated, and thanks for the turnout. I commented earlier that I think it's fantastic that there are neighborhoods that care this much about a local election that you're here. Because too many times when we're out on the campaign trail, I think all of us would comment to this, people don't know who their city council person is, and it probably impacts their lives more directly than any other office. And so I think it's great that you guys are taking an interest in this race. What's coming out around is a PowerPoint presentation that I use for some of my things. It helps me keep on track because I'm known as a rambler. So if I start to go off topic, that's okay, just follow along with me. First off, a little bit about who I am. Again, Eric Frederick is the name. I'm running for Phoenix City Council District 1. And I've moved to Valley about 6 years ago. Started off in Gilbert and Chandler, and then discovered North Phoenix and fell in love and moved up here. So I've been up here for about 4 years. I originally came from Michigan, and I gladly exchange sunshine for snowflakes. It's a trade I'll make every single day. I am happily married. Been married to my wife for 10 years. We have 3 children, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And they're why I go to work every day. So I ultimately make a lot of my decisions both on my professional and business life as well as my personal life based on what's best for them. And that's one of the reasons I'm running for office. I do own a small business. I own a state farm agency. I've owned that since 2009. Prior to that, I ran a branch office for a Fortune 500 financial services corporation. Gained a reputation for being able to go around to offices that were underperforming and turn them around very quickly. And I think we might all agree that the city of Phoenix probably would not receive exceeding expectations if we were to do an annual review today. Might be somewhere along the lines of underperforming. So I'm heavily engaged in community activities. I previously served on the Deer Valley Planning Commission during the church in the Mormon Temple situation. I currently serve on the Maryvale Planning Commission. My State Farm office is in the Maryvale Village, and so I have a unique perspective of being able to see not just one district, but multiple districts through my outreach. Graduated from Western Michigan University. I spent a year in Beijing, China. I received a certificate of completion from Beijing Language and Culture University, and yes, I do speak Mandarin Chinese. I also speak Spanish, and I also speak English. I always forget that one when I tell people what languages I speak. I also am a member of Christ Church of the Valley, and I don't hide my faith. I'm very proud of it. It defines who I am. So, on to the reasons that I'm running for office. There's 4 main themes that I'm using for my campaign. The first one is jobs. We talked a little bit about job creation tonight, and if you go on to page 3 of this pamphlet, you'll see the current employment levels in Arizona. And what I did is I took 2007 numbers and 2009 numbers, 2009 because it was most recent, available on the Department of Labor website. And you'll see that there's 2 categories that have grown. Government is one of them. It's my favorite. And education and healthcare. And you'll see the number of jobs that have been lost, number about 100,000 in some of those core industries that we need to be able to expand, to be able to create a nice broad base of jobs to continue to have us go forward as a city. So how are we going to create jobs? Everybody's talking about it, right? Everybody says, I'm going to create jobs, I'm going to create jobs, I'm going to create jobs. So how do we do it? Well, number one, I'm a small business owner, and I'm in sales. So I'm used to being told no all the time. I'd come around to every one of you and ask you about your car insurance, and most of you would say no, but one of you might say yes, and that one is the person I'm going to say, woohoo, glad I asked everybody in the room. That mentality will serve very well on the city council level, because ultimately that energy and passion, when you go and you talk to corporations and you talk to CEOs and CFOs and COOs and talk about creating jobs and creating regional hubs and relocating headquarters, that personal connection, that personal relationship is going to be what tilts the scale if you've got 2 competing proposals from Austin, Texas or Phoenix, Arizona. We talked a little bit, I think the gentleman in the back asked the question about tax incentives. Well, tax incentives, we could try and play that game, but ultimately we're going to go away the farm. Phoenix has a lot of fantastic things going for us. Number one, we have fantastic weather, right? Number 2, I don't know if you've ever been to LA or San Diego and looked to buy a house, but our housing prices here in Phoenix are a little bit lower. Our cost of living is a lot lower as well. So we don't necessarily have to throw gobs of money at these folks if we have a personal relationship and if we can tell the story. And so that will be my role as a city councilman, is to contact those corporations, contact those people, be willing to be told no 400 times to get that one yes about, you know, I think that'd be something we'd look at. Yes, let's go do it. Let's go do it. The second, there's a whole list of things on here, but the regulatory uncertainty that Gary talked about is regulatory red tape. I think it's really the uncertainty that businesses are really scared of. The tax increase, when we increase water taxes and sales taxes, the resulting numbers, I believe, were $26 million that we pulled out of the economy to pay for the food tax. That's $26 million that didn't go to our small businesses. And do not forget that those tax dollars, those discretionary incomes, disproportionately impact small businesses in our community, which means jobs go away because we don't have businesses that are willing to grow. Okay? So if we think another tax increase is coming, businesses aren't willing to make that leap of faith. We don't know what Obama's health care plan is. It scares the heck out of me as a business owner. What if it's $1,500 a month per employee and I have 10 employees? Holy moly, am I going to be able to make it? Is it worth it for me to be a business owner? The answer a lot of times is no. So that regulatory uncertainty that we've created on many levels of government is what's keeping us from being able to create a lot of these jobs. We can do our part as a city by not having more tax increases. Creating a business-friendly environment down there in the bottom. I'm glad Belda brought up the unions, and I'm glad that the topic was broached. Outside of Council District 1, which is what we're running for, I need everyone to look at the big picture of what's happening on the council. And I need you to just take a step back and look at the other races, because those other races are going to shape our city for years to come. Felda is very well supported by the unions, police and fire. 70% of our budget on this single sheet is paid toward police and firefighters. And she's earned that. She's done a pretty good job of keeping our community safe. District 2, Brian Jeffries was just appointed to the city council position. He is a Mesa firefighter. District 5, Daniel Valenzuela is running. He is a Glendale firefighter. District 7, Michael Nowakowski, heavily engaged in the Hispanic community. They are very pro-unions. Michael Johnson, District 8, former police officer, union member. That's 5 union members, 5 people that will support the union. So I don't think if all of those people get elected, we're going to change business as usual. I think we've got a very dangerous situation heading toward the city of Phoenix. I'm not against unions. I think there are good unions and I think there are bad unions. So that's not a comment on unions. It's just if you're a business looking to relocate someplace, would you dare be willing to go to a city that has 5 union members on a 9-person council? Nope. As a business owner, I certainly wouldn't choose to do that. So, moving on to topic number 2, because I want to make sure we get to questions. Stopping tax increases. We talked already about one of the impacts of those tax increases, the water tax, or the emergency food tax. Taxes on food, unacceptable. You've got to find something else to tax. You cannot, with the problems we have with obesity in this country, and all of the resulting healthcare costs, and all the other resulting issues, you simply cannot tax lettuce and carrots and cauliflower and broccoli and stuff to make salads. You just can't do it, and we did it. So it pulled money out of the discretionary budget, put it back into the city budget, and yes, we did just approve $29 million of raises that were negotiated, I don't think years ago. I think they were negotiated a year ago. So understand that if we have a pro-union council, these costs are going to continue to escalate. We talked about the pension a little bit. It's only 69% funded right now, according to the last estimates. To stick our heads in the sand and say that we're not going to have to worry about it is ignorant. We need to get ahead of the curve. There's a lot of ways to resolve that if you start now.